Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our reaction and review for the Traitors US Season 4, Episode 8. All right, so let's just start with an Emmy-related conversation,
Mhm.
or rather, an Emmy-related metaphor. So those of you who aren't too familiar with the word season, what happens is actors, let's just say Jeremy Allen White, for the great comedy known as The Bear, he is going to submit himself for a specific episode once it gets down to the wire there, and voters are going to consider that. If we were talking about the Emmys of greatest traitor performance of all time, this 100% feels like this episode is Rob Rausch's submission.
It absolutely is. Is also his submission to be on Survivor. Please just bring him over there. His strategic mind is so fascinating and so
Yes.
fun to watch. I mean, when this season started and we lost Ian and we lost Rob Sesternino, I was starting to get very worried because I was like, oh my God, we're losing all the big strategic minds. How is this season really going to play out? And then up from the ashes comes Rob from Love Island to just blow my mind.
This is where we have to give Alan and the rest of the producers, because let's be serious, Alan isn't picking the traitors alone here, some credit for recognizing this in Rob so early, and also for making me have to go into the clown car by myself, honk my nose. Driver, I was on here 2 episodes ago poo-pooing Rob for the Lisa move and being like, it's a good move eventually, Rob, but it's too early. You should have waited. And now the position that he is in is so unbelievably powerful. I mean, yeah, there's 3 in season 1, but beyond all that, like, is this the most power that a US traitor has ever found themselves in this game?
I mean, Suri played a pretty flawless game.
Yeah.
It was really solid all the way through. She was so under the radar. She aligned herself with a lot of faithfuls that wanted to bring her to the end. And I mean, she played such a good game. But
Yeah.
Rob really is playing an excellent game. He has played a very similar game where he is really making himself part of the faithfuls, the Dagger Six. He's got really great allies. Like, yeah, he's playing a very surprising game. I didn't know anything about Rob before going into this season, so this is my first time seeing him on any reality show. I do like Love Island, but I never saw his season. But he's really just blowing my mind. It's just amazing, his gameplay and the way he was thinking so many steps ahead here with Candiace. Even though I think if we just went into a time machine, beep, bop, 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 boop, and
Oh,
went back a little bit, if Candiace had just not thrown out that Rob vote and was patient and waited, went to the turret, got that information from Rob, maybe about the Dagger Six, maybe about Colton throwing out her name, she could have taken Rob out. But because she didn't have patience, now we're here and we're losing somebody who I think was a really good traitor, but made some mistakes.
yeah, that's the thing. Candace's whole ouster here, it's a firm reminder that you can be an awesome traitor for 6 episodes, but
Mhm.
then one vote in episode 7 really snowballs a lot of things. And
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people online be like, okay, what was fundamentally different about what Candace did versus what Rob did with Lisa? And it is, like you said, a lot having to do with Rob working with other faithfuls and kind of taking the pulse of those faithfuls, knowing where they were going to be.
I think it also has to do with information, right? Like
Yeah.
she didn't know who had this double vote out of the Dagger Six, but she knows that Rob was there. And
Mm,
if they all made this pact, she could have waited on that vote. And that's what the difference is. She could have been patient on that, waited on that vote, got that information, and
yeah.
then stuck the dagger into Rob because she would have had that power. I mean, knowledge is power in
Yeah.
this game, truly. And her working against another traitor who has more information, you have to just be patient. And she even said that at one point in this episode where she's like, I got to keep it cool. We're in the turret. I got to keep it cool so I can like kind of smooth this out. And it's like, you already blew it by putting out his name. Now he's not going to give you this information, and he didn't.
And that's the bummer here, is that I feel like Candace's reads a lot of the time were really, really good. It's just how you apply
Yes.
those reads in the game and how you go through your plans. We're going to get more into what Candace did that was wrong, who we also lost in this episode. We have a big cliffhanger here as well that we will go through, or
Ooh,
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger.
Listen, we have a couple of things that we need to tell the traders to change immediately, but before we dive into any of that, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be here through the rest of the Traitors US talking all about this game, if Rob can actually pull off this victory, but also in just a matter of weeks. Survivor 50, speaking of Survivor, is going to be airing on CBS. It's too bad they're not filming that in real time, so I know Rob's not a returning player, but you
No,
can
he is
throw him
not.
on that season anyway.
Absolutely not, but maybe 51. No,
Yeah.
I know. We will be here for 51 as well.
Mhm.
We are also going to be here for Big Brother this season again. We're going to be covering the live feeds as we have for many years here at the channel.
Yeah.
So hit that subscribe button and stick with us. And also, if you want to help support Matt and I further here at the channel to be able to continue to bring you these videos, please consider joining our memberships. It's a way that you can really help us here to be able to, keep a roof over our head, keep the channel going. And there we have some exclusive videos right now. We are covering Hijack Season 2. There is the only place that you can get those videos besides Patreon. And we also have Season 1 of The Pit there. We have Down Cemetery Road there. We have a bunch of shows there. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for your support. As we talk now more and more about Candiace's downfall, and we've talked a lot about the vote that you brought up, her going rogue and putting down Rob's name. I think the big error she sort of made psychologically is that if you are a faithful on the Traitors, the vote is really all you have. That's the only sort of statement of trust you can make. And because you don't have any other opportunity to prove yourself, I think the idea of not just going in there and voting for Rob, who clearly has a tremendous social game where everybody trusts him, but not giving anyone that information in advance and then acting like it's a throwaway vote. Even with Dorinda and Mora, as annoying as that whole saga was last episode, at least it was clear that Dorinda was just being petty. It's just nobody is ever going to buy, this is the one opportunity you have to build trust, and you're just casting a throwaway vote for no reason at all?
On somebody that's clearly very well liked.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really surprised by the end of this episode that no one was really looking at that. Like, his name came up, but everyone's like, nah, it's not Rob. Rob is Rob. It's all fine. He's not a traitor. I was like, this did nothing. Nobody's looking at him. Everybody's looking at Johnny. Nobody's looking at Rob. It's just wild how strong his game is and how deep the connections he's made with some of these faithfuls. Like, they truly believe he's a faithful. And I think add on top of it the show he's come from, which is Love Island, which is like a silly, trashy show that's just, ridiculous. No one's going to take him seriously. It would be like bringing Snooki or JWoww on the show and making them a traitor. Nobody's going to believe it. They're just going to go, oh, they're from Jersey Shore, whatever.
Put Snooki or JWoww on the next season of The Traitors. I don't... Okay, tinfoil hat. I'm putting it on right now. They refuse to cast Jersey Shore people because it's a different parent company.
Yeah.
But it's so bizarre because Jersey Shore is one of the most iconic reality shows of all time. Like, they absolutely need to be there. But you make a really good point where there's a nature of unfairness to The Traitors where Rob Rausch can come in and play this game. I don't think Rob Sesternino can come in and play this game. People are going to view him way differently than they are this other Rob here.
And it's the same with the Housewives, because every single season they are casting like 100 housewives on this show. And typically everybody starts targeting them down because they're at such a huge disadvantage where there's so many of them. Everybody thinks they're all voting together and that there's likely going to be a housewife up in the turret. And it makes it really super unfair. And I really want them to stop casting so many housewives to give housewives an actual chance to get to the end.
Yeah, there needs to be just more of a spreading out of all these various shows, the people that come on there. It gives a little bit more of a level playing field in that way. I mean, Rob Rausch has done an awesome job. Sure, he's been aided at times by the show in which he's from, but he's basically using what he can to make the most of it. And he has made the absolute most of this game at basically every single turn.
This game is a lot for the traders about information and sharing
Yeah.
information with each other or not. And the fact that Candiace did not get the information about the dagger, even though the dagger wasn't used, that's information she definitely was going to end up needing to be able to take him out because she would know that he has 2 votes.
Yeah.
So she would have to gather enough votes. And that's the biggest issue she ran into. She threw out Rob's name. Then this time around, she then went after Rob, where everyone was like, okay, I'm totally confused. Yesterday, you're like, it's a throwaway vote. Today, you're like, nah, I'm on Rob. But she didn't actually take the time to make sure that she had support. You can't just vote alone. You're never going to get him out.
No, and if you don't try to get support going into that, then it looks even more suspicious. I still feel like, and maybe I am just completely naive, but Rob and Candiace could have found a way to fix this to some degree.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Candiace would have had to have done some mea culpas or whatever, but I think that was a possibility she could have, and they could have retreated and worked together. There is a case to be made that because they're so different, nobody would ever pinpoint the two of them as traitors working together, but it didn't work out that way because Rob was able to very much read in the turret that, all right, this is a permanent problem with him and Candiace.
Yeah, and it felt like it was permanent between both of them. I mean, he was already okay, she threw out my name, she's fired this shot, she can't take it back. Now some eyes are on me and it's her fault. I can't trust her. She's like, "Well, I can't trust you. You just got out Lisa." So it felt a bit unrepairable by the time they actually got up to the turret, but it felt like before then, when there was like still a little bit of talking it out, there was a possibility, but it was really little. But I think once they were face to face and alone, they could look into each other's eyes and know that it was over. There was no rebuilding this.
Let's just take a moment though and celebrate Candiace. Even though she's gone and we're sad that she's gone, she did deliver a very nice parting gift for us, and that is sending Colton out of this game. Bye. We don't have to see you. I am not going to miss you.
That was also, I felt like, a lot of handing over the game to Rob, because here again, she could have had this information that Colton was spreading out her name. Rob may have shared that information, probably would have shared that information if she hadn't taken that shot. But because she did, he decided not to tell her. So when she was like, hey, I'd like to get rid of Colton, even though he was like, I really don't want to do that. Man, he did not fight that at all. He was just like, oh, damn. I was like, oh my God. Like, you would be fine for Colton to go at this point because it completely takes the target off of Rob entirely. One, you got Colton out there saying Candiace's name the night before. Now Colton is dead. And Colton was like besties with Rob. Who's going to think that Rob is going to kill Colton after just another round table where he was like, you know what? I can't vote for Ron and I can't vote for Colton, so I'm sorry. It's just like, oh, he's going to go through that and then he's going to go and kill off Colton. Like, I wouldn't believe it.
The bamboozlement, which I don't know is a word, but the just deception, the way that Rob played this whole situation with Colton.
It was snaky. I appreciate it. I know she's calling him a snake. I know he's like the snake charmer, all that. It was snaky, but it was so entertaining.
Yeah, I don't care if you can be a python. You can be whatever snake you want.
You're a traitor.
Yes, the whole point of this game, and this is why at times I felt like Candiace did a little too much with sort of talking about the right or wrong way to play this, because it is the traitors. You're meant to be duplicitous. I think she was trying to use this argument with Rob to maybe get Rob over on her side. It was just that was never going to work. But before we say goodbye completely to Colton, a moment I'm really looking forward to, I just want to say this to the producers of this show: Joey Graziadei, Charity Lawson. There are 100 Bachelor Nation people you could have cast on this season. You cast Colton, who, as I've said, I do not like for things that happened after his season of The Bachelor. In general, this show, and also Dancing with the Stars, which I love, they need to get on the same page with, you don't need these sort of personalities that are so polarizing, have a lot of negative attention. Like nobody is excited to see people like Colton or Michael on this show, really. They just need to go. They take away from the game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand the move from Candiace to get rid of Colton, but I'm glad that Colton is gone. Like I understand her reasoning where she was like, okay, you know what? I need to split up Rob and Colton.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you do. But you had enough votes. I feel like there were enough people that would have banished him with you if
Mhm.
you went that route instead, and you still would have been able to split them up.
Yeah.
And maybe you could have murdered off somebody else who's close with Rob and get a two.
I think that's the 100% the real thing here. And that while we saw other people like Natalie and Steven somehow miraculously skate by in this episode, Colton would have been incapable of doing that. The guy can't stop talking. He's going to
No.
constantly get under people's skin. I do agree that if Colton was still there, I think there would have been a very good chance that he ended up going into banishment.
Absolutely. I think that she could have easily gotten those votes together to get Colton out because Candiace was in a really good position too with the Faithfuls. It's just this vote really was the thing where it was like she threw out the name and said
Yeah.
it was sort of just this throwaway vote. And then the next day she's coming at him because he fumbled a fork. I mean, oh Lord, I like tripped up the stairs coming up here to do this video. Like things just happen. People are
Yes.
clumsy. That's such a nothing.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good argument for these people when we've seen way worse slip ups, like even Natalie having a really big slip up about the game. It's
Portia said I killed
Yes.
Ian. Like fumbling a fork, please.
no, you can't
It's not enough.
you can't compare those things. She just wasn't really prepared with her plan. And yeah,
No.
in the end, it's a shame because I think neither one of us knew Candiace that well coming into this show.
But she was so entertaining.
I-
Oh my goodness.
Her conga line is going to be one of the defining moments of this season. I mean, speaking of which, also with this challenge in this episode, which is my favorite challenge of the entire season, mostly because of Eric Nam being upset that he was eating grass and they still weren't getting the picture right.
That picture challenge was great. It really was.
The whole lesson that the traders need to learn is that 90% of their challenges stink and they have no bearing on the actual game at all. So you just need to lean into things that are going to embarrass your contestants, whether that is the haunted house, your favorite thing that they do,
I love that
the
cabin.
Tom Sandoval Memorial Phone Challenge,
That's right.
or something like this. So I really appreciated that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But in getting again to the round table here, I did feel like Candiace's game was already over before she went in there.
No, the minute that for me, I thought it's a possibility as long as she doesn't go for Rob. If she goes for Rob, it's just going to turn out really badly, especially when they started all, Natalie's talking and everybody's talking about sort of this like, oh, people come in with ideas of already who's going to go sort of thing. And then in comes Candiace throwing out Rob, that it gets really weird.
Also, Candice, why are you throwing Tara under the bus at the round table? It was like, this is one of the few people you had on your side. I know it probably didn't matter, but that was just...
Yeah, I think it didn't matter at that point. I think Candiace knew it was a losing battle and she was just trying her best.
She was.
And she did.
I appreciate the fight.
Yes.
I think the big question now for Rob, like this is the one thing I'm very worried about with him, is just that Candiace out of the blue starts to suddenly go after Rob after one of her former fellow housewives here is taken out of the game. Is it possible that people are going to be able to pick on, oh, she's really going after Rob twice in a row? Is this traitor versus traitor? We've seen that paranoia before.
If Rob's sister Nino and Ian were still in this game, both of them would have picked up on that.
Yeah.
First, you've got Rob that's going after Lisa. She's a traitor, gone. Then it's Candiace going up and she's going after Rob twice. And now she's a traitor and she's gone. Those two guys would have picked up on that immediately, that there has to be a connection with these guys. There's no reason that Candiace is going to be really like pulling this over and over and over again on Rob, that it's gone from like just a throwaway hinky vote into, no, you fumbled a fork, it's you.
Yeah, and these people, instead of thinking this way, they're all still like, oh, maybe it's Johnny because Johnny is friends with Kid. Johnny has done nothing over the past few episodes other than irritate me, continuing to talk in the confessionals about how him and Tara are apparently just one person playing in two different bodies.
Yeah, I think I've seen them talking one time, and it was this episode.
Yeah, just like, oh my God, Johnny, this is all ridiculous. And these faithful, they're smarter than this. We have seen absolutely terrible faithful on
Oh,
the
have
history.
we ever?
Like, these are not the worst faithful we've ever seen. So it's just like, how are you guys not picking up on any of this?
Yeah, nobody's really looking at Rob. He's done excellent damage control. He is still in a pretty heavy power position.
Yeah.
Like he still has a lot of people on his side. So let's get into the recruitment here
Yes.
because he had a couple of ways to go about it and he lined them all out. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I could pick somebody that maybe people are targeting and then get them out, or I could pick somebody that I want to win the game with and, go all the way with them." And it seems like that's kind of where he's going with Eric.
So yeah, I think this was 100% the right move for Rob to make. I haven't gotten the sense that Eric is super cutthroat. He's really going to be out to take him out later. I don't have any issue with him doing that. The only issue I have in general with this is I hate this whole, oh, this person has to be recruited or they just die on the spot. I hope the traitors at some point down the road come up with a solution to this that doesn't make it so that the faithful are basically just punished because they got a couple of traitors out and then this person has to automatically join them. I don't like that, but we'll see what Eric decides moving into the next episode.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about this is because we know that he doesn't have a choice. It's a lot more fun when they do have a choice and then they decide not to. But I know Rob can't be the last traitor there because if he goes, then there's a huge problem here. Then you have no more traitors. Then what happens? I don't want a situation where Alan's just like, "Oh, I'll just pick some new traitors and throw that." That's just not fair and it just ruins the strategy of the game. But maybe they can offer rewards, things that maybe people, would want to have to be able to become a traitor. Be like, "Hey, you can stay as a faithful or you can become a traitor and we'll put $20,000 in your bank account." I feel like people will be like, "Okay, I'll just take it."
Yeah, I just want something like that. So that, I don't know, we have some element of suspense here rather than just, oh, you can either leave the game that you've been a part of.
Yeah, no one's leaving the game.
No, it's not a good cliffhanger that way. So I hope they change that. It feels inevitable. Eric is going to join Rob, but we'll turn this over to you guys. What did you think about this episode, the downfall of Candiace? Do you think Rob's 100% winning the game? 90%? Could Eric turn on him? Give us all of your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything else. And you can support us further by joining our memberships. We do have a lot of exclusive stuff over there. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you here next time.